Welcome to Salad with a Side of Fries. I'm your host, Jen Trepic, talking wellness and weight loss for real life. We're here to clear up the myths, misinformation, bad science, and marketing to teach you how to eat and how to cheat. Are you ready? I'm having salad with a side of fries. This week, we're talking about onions. So I thought about this food this week for a couple reasons. Our episode was about emotions, and that made me think of crying. And then also, I saw a hack on the internet that was somebody talking about how to prevent onions from making you cry when you cut them. And then I was like, okay, we got to talk about onions. So it's funny too, because when I say this, people are pretty polarized around onions. My sister loves onions, especially red onion. I, on the other hand, can only eat onions if they are cooked. I feel like raw onions are they contaminate everything near them. And I say that with love, great for the onion, not for me. And then it also made me kind of think about, is there a difference between eating them raw or cooked? So let's dig into it. Here's the scoop. Onions are technically a flowering plant and in the same family as garlic, shallots, and leeks. For thousands of years, they've been used for their medicinal properties. So apparently athletes in ancient Greece used onions to purify their blood. We'll come back to that. Traditional doctors prescribed onions to treat everything from headaches and heart disease to mouth sores. And it's interesting because then we want to see, okay, well, why is this? How did this come to be? So we'll start with the nutrients. Onions qualify as a nutrient-dense food, which means they're lower on the calorie front and higher on the nutrient front, right? The vitamins, minerals, and the fiber too. So one medium onion has 44 calories, 0.1 grams of fat, 1.2 grams of protein, 10.3 grams of carbohydrates, of which there are 4.7 grams of sugar, 1.9 grams of fiber. On the vitamin and mineral side, they have a little potassium and some vitamin C. So even with just this information, we can think of metabolic and cardiovascular health support, right, with the protein and fiber. The fiber is a prebiotic, so we can think of gut health and immune health. Vitamin C has us thinking about immune support also. Plus, vitamin C is required for collagen production, so we have some support there. And vitamin C also improves iron absorption. Then with potassium, so potassium's a mineral that we can think about potassium with cellular function, fluid balance, kidney function, muscle contraction, and nerve transmission. Now, also on the nerve front, nerve function is supported by B vitamins, which are in onions too. So we get some B vitamins like folate and B6. And so again, B vitamins connect to metabolic health, red blood cell production, nerve function, like I said. And then onions also have antioxidants. Now we have a nutrition nugget entirely on antioxidants. So that was definitely in 2020. So you'll scroll back in the feed a bit to find that. With onions, the kinds of antioxidants, there are, I think it's more than 17 kinds of antioxidants are in onions. And some of the ones that are in there, we actually have nutrition nuggets on as well. So quercetin is one of the antioxidants in onions. We have a nutrition nugget on quercetin. Red onions, right, with their color, are higher in an antioxidant called anthocyanins. So anthocyanins may protect against diabetes and potentially some cancers. All the antioxidants can also give us support for cardiovascular health. There was some research that I wanted to point out here, specifically related to the things that we talk about all the time on Salad with a Side of Fries. So in 2010, there was a small study. It was like 84 people. It was people with type 1 or type 2 diabetes, and they saw significantly reduced fasting blood sugar levels after 4 hours of eating 100 grams of red onion. So 100 grams of red onion is a little smaller than a medium onion. So like most of a medium onion is what you'll need. I think the medium onion from the nutrition facts I did was like 110 grams. So perspective there. And then there was another study in 2020 where they had rats with diabetes and gave them food containing 5% dried onion powder for 8 weeks. The rats had decreased fasting blood sugar levels, lower triglycerides, and lower cholesterol levels than the control group. And so from that, by the way, I just want to point out, onion powder can give us some of the vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, but it's not going to give us that fiber. Onions also have antibacterial properties. So maybe that's where, going back to the ancient uses, we get the mouth sores and even maybe some of the athletes, right? And then this is also going to support immune health and gut health. All in, it seems like onions can be our friend. Truly, I think they're easy to add. Even though they pack a punch of flavor, they're easy to add in. And I think, even for me at least, I recommend cooking them, right? A lot of the studies, like I said, we want to pay attention for this therapeutic benefit. A lot of the studies were having most or all of that medium onion size. So add more for some of this therapeutic benefit. And I always use them as like the base for things when cooking. So if I'm grilling, even roasting, almost anything that I'm making, you could throw some onion in there, just quarter up an onion and throw it in the roasting pan. Remember, French onion soup is delicious. If you're making any variation of eggs, you can add onions in there, throw them on salads. You can grill or caramelize onions and make them the topping for almost any protein source, animal protein or plant protein. Sounds delicious. Any sauce or soup, use a good bit of onion. So add them in there. And then I mentioned the onion powder thing before, right? We can get the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants with those. And then raw versus cooked. So it does seem that raw onions may be a bit better by way of the nutrient density than cooked because the raw onions have more of the sulfur compounds. So Tufts Health and Nutrition Letter says that raw onions have a higher level of sulfur compounds, which may help protect the body against cancer, reduce bad cholesterol production, and lower your body's blood sugar. They actually seem to also support insulin resistance. Now, that's according to Tufts. And then I think these sulfur compounds are also what irritate the eyes. So I'll wrap this up with a couple hacks. My first hack is a shout out to summer. So if you're cutting onions, use some ski goggles. That makes it really easy. Throw the ski goggles on when you cut onions, and then the sulfur compound won't get in your eyes. My grandmother used to hold water in her mouth while she was cutting onions. And then the thing that I saw online that spurred some of this nutrition nugget was they said that these, whatever it is in the onion, which I now know to be the sulfur compounds, is seeking water for dilution or whatever. So it's seeking water. And often the closest water or moisture are your eyes. So the suggestion was to put a cup of water next to your cutting board and you won't cry. Now, I don't know if this is actually true, but about a week or two ago, I was cutting a red onion and my cutting board was wet from having just rinsed it after cutting something else. And the onion did not irritate my eye. So I don't know. I've also heard chew gum. I've also heard put the onion in the freezer, make sure it's really cold, even for just a few minutes, so it's really cold before you cut it. See what happens. Let me know. I'm super curious. Do you cry when you cut onions? Maybe not. Maybe some of these things work because they're psychosomatic, but give them a try. Let me know. So there you have it, right? Eat your onions, but one caveat, don't eat them like an apple. You will be sweating onions for days. So I know this, I was a kid at camp when I was early in high school. We were on a hiking trip. It was like a 5-day hiking trip. And one of the boys ate an onion like an apple. I do not advise. He was sweating onion for the entire trip. So anyway, there you have it. That's the deal on onions. All right. Well, As always, everybody, I'm your host, Jen Trepick. Connect with me on Instagram or all social media. I'm at Jen Trepick, JENNTREPECK. Website is asaladwithasideofries.com. Please send a message, share your takeaways, your ideas, your questions. Merch is there, and it's also the easiest way to learn more about working with me as your health coach. And friend, if you're not already, join our membership program by going to glow.fm/saladwithasideofries to show your support for this podcast, this community, and most importantly, support your health. Plus, you'll get this week's recipe for the healthier Snickers bar. Well, friends, that's it for today's episode of Salad with a Side of Fries. Congratulations for making yourself and your health a priority. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to click subscribe or follow on your favorite podcast platform. Share us with a friend, and we'll be back next week. Always remember, you deserve it, and you are worth it. Happy healthy.